Barely News Crew, everyone. I am your host here, as always, Alexis, and today we bring you another movie review based on true events. This is Bridge of Spies. Bridge of Spies is directed by Steven Spielberg and stars Tom Hanks as James Donovan and Mark Rylance as Rudolph Abel. This film is based on the events that happened in 1957, which is the height of the Cold War, and follows the capture of Soviet spy Rudolph Abel, as well as his defense by James Donovan. Originally, Donovan was asked to defend Abel to show off the U.S. justice system, but it ends up that Donovan actually tries to defend him. Initially, though, it seems as if that's gonna be the whole movie, but the courtroom drama aspect of the movie is wrapped up rather quickly and then shifts gears for something else entirely. Donovan is asked by the CIA to travel to East Berlin and authorize an exchange between prisoners of the US and the Soviets. Donovan negotiating these releases is really the main story here, but believe me, that sounds a lot easier than it actually was. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, this is a discussion-filled, dialogue-driven movie. It's not a traditional spy movie as it's advertised with explosions or people shooting at you. Admittedly, I was disappointed when I first saw this movie. It just really wasn't what I was expecting, and because of that, I spent the entire movie waiting for it to grab me, instead of enjoying the film as it was intended to be. However, I did see it again, and I ended up liking it a lot, and respecting it for challenging my initial judgments and perceptions of the movie. So now we can start with the actual review. This is without a doubt, in my view, the best directed movie of the year. The way Spielberg shot the film made every single frame gorgeous to look at, and the lighting is pure perfection. As with most of Spielberg's films, the cinematography is noticeable and excellent. We should also note here that the acting is pretty top-notch. Of course, Tom Hanks is amazing. He brings life to Donovan as that rare, likable lawyer that actually has a moral code. There are so many great moments in this movie where Hanks really gets to show off his acting chops. For me anyway, his monologues are really memorable. In particular to Hanks, it's always just great fun to see him completely blow people out of the water when they question his allegiance. And it's also really ironic when you see one of the outstanding acting performances by Mark Rylance involving hardly any dialogue from him. His performance depended largely on facial expressions, mannerisms. I really love that Spielberg chose to showcase a film with this particular subject matter, because when I'm watching the movie, it really feels more like it's portraying recent events instead of something that happened back in 1957. Ultimately, though, the film is meant to provide historical context and emulate those events with modern times, as well as to provide meaningful insight to always remind the rest of the world who we are by not sacrificing our way of life. All in all, it's a pretty damn good film. Thank you so much for watching this review. And as always, I'm your host here, as always, Alexis. And remember, you're always welcome to the Barely News Crew, the place for all things movie news and reviews. Bye-bye.
They sit, they walk to another location, they sit, they talk, they go to a different location, they do the same thing again, and then after that, they sit and talk, or they talk and sit, drink vodka, and then sit and talk, then drink and sit and talk. And then at the end, he slept.